Well, you mentioned companies like Big Whiskeys, but I'm thinking of stores like 5 Pound Apparel and,
a good one.
and Hudson Hawk, where they've been expanding their concept all over the city.
Right.
Well, 5 Pound Apparel just has 2, but
Yeah.
do you see more of that kind of thing happening?
I do. If you look at Springfield in particular, if you think about the companies that are based here that are starting to expand, franchising and otherwise, you've got us, you've got Andy's, you've got Classic Rock Coffee, you've got who's the other one? There's somebody else's franchise. Great American Taco,
Yeah.
Padran. So it's kind of amazing that in this relatively small town, that there's a number of companies that are growing externally. And if you look at other companies like the Hammers that own all the Wednesdays that are based here, I think that Springfield has kind of a quiet story to tell. A lot of people don't know about that. They'll find out over the years as we expand and Andy's and the other guys expand. People will start looking at Springfield more like, oh, it's a business hub, which maybe it hasn't necessarily in the past.
Okay. Well, I mean, that kind of speaks to what I want to ask about next, but the way Springfield markets itself, do you think it's doing a good job? Do you think the city's pulling in the crowd it wants to pull in? Or, I mean, what could it do better? What will it do better? And,
You know, I think that's a question you need to ask the hotel owners.
Yeah.
Are they putting enough people in beds? You need to ask the CVB and the chamber if they're satisfied with that. I personally probably think not. But I think it's also a matter of real identity. I mean, this is the second time I've lived here. I moved back here last March to take over the franchising and marketing with the guys at Big Whiskeys. And I've never really got a sense that Springfield really knew who it was. And it used to be hang a hat on Bass Pro primarily.
Yeah.
And it's still the original, and it's got the Nature Conservancy there with it, and it's bigger than anything else. But now that there's Bass Pros all over the country, it's lost some of that charm of we need to go to Bass Pro. And there's great other things here. Route 66 is probably the heart of what goes on here.
Right.
I've had friends from all over the country, especially ones who ride bikes from overseas, want to come here and ride through Springfield on Route 66. But you've got Small and Cave, you've got fantastic caverns, and you've got other things to do. And of course the universities continue to grow, and that's pulling people here. I think until Springfield gets a real, true convention center / hotel combination that can really properly handle conventions, I don't know that we'll ever pull in the number of people that I think that they would like to.
well, you mentioned Route 66. There's been a big marketing push as far as that goes with,
Yeah.
with what they're doing along college and things of that nature. And is that the direction they should continue heading in?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they
Yeah.
need to take, so much of America still wants to hang on to nostalgia. And a lot of the younger generation, the millennials and the Generation Zs want to see, what helped build this country, what makes it who it is, other than just everything being digitalized and looking at your phone. So something like Route 66, I personally had friends that had packed up from New Zealand, come here and rode the whole route. And they spent some time in Springfield looking at what's here, and they went and saw fantastic caverns and some things like that.
Yeah.
So I think they really do need to continue to market Route 66, but that's only a small niche. They need to figure out what else can Springfield offer somebody from a tourist standpoint, what would bring them here. And I'm not sure I know what it is, but I'm not an expert in that field. But so they'll figure it out. They're smart people.
Sure. What about? We spoke about a little bit about the restaurant industry, but do you see more of the same in 2017, or?
I think that the trends that we're seeing across the country and somewhat that's happening here are going to continue. That people are going to spend less time at the big box restaurant franchises. I don't want to mention any names.
Sure.
And more at local owned restaurants,
Yeah.
like some of the ones downtown, like Big Whiskeys. And that because we can be a little bit more nimble and flexible when it comes to menu offerings and pricing. We just released a new menu a few months ago, and it's been widely accepted because we listen to who our customers are, what do they want to see, and also what some of the trends are. We have the saying that where traditions are as important as trends. So it's that balance of that tradition that people want to have, like it used to be when you could go to your neighborhood restaurant and bar and you felt part of that, and then yet it had enough cocktails and food that was trendy enough that you could satisfy those needs. Because we, and like any restaurant owner around here, it's not just 25-year-olds we're trying to appease, it's also 45-year-olds. So the ones that can listen to customers, give the best service and consistency of food, are the ones that are going to win out. As far as new ones coming in, it seems like there's almost a new restaurant opening daily, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
Springfield has per capita one of the highest restaurant concentrations in America. So it's difficult business, yeah.